Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. Hello. Welcome once more to Reckless Attack, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons actual play podcast. I am your GM, Nathan, here surrounded by the excellent crew of the USS Reckless Attack. Greetings, ahoy, sailors.
Yes.
Ahoy.
Ahoy, Captain.
Yarr. Immediately, my brain started filling in a rich fiction wherein we were indeed all sailors, but there was a mutiny, and then who would be the new captain? It was like a whole thing. So once again, I would like to reiterate.
Yeah, definitely Sophie/Val would be the captain.
Why are we not playing a pirate campaign? Yeah. God damn it. Well, as I mull about what could have been had the horrible people around me made better choices with their life, and more specifically with the theme of our campaign, let's all have them introduce themselves, starting with the person on my left.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sophie, and I play Valeska Carter, the human asterisk cleric of the Arcana domain, with something extra. But it will never make it into the intro, because it's been this way for 100 episodes, and I will not change.
I mean, you say that, who knows?
A lot of things have
You're
to happen.
A Varlock, Vallock. All right,
Human
we'll workshop it.
Cleric of the Arcana domain plus Warlock.
Plus Warlock
plus
dip.
just a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
A
Just
Warwick
a tiny-
or a Clearlock?
No, it will throw off the
rhythm.
Of the thing. And to the person who also has good rhythm.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, it wasn't you.
Wow.
All right. Intro. We all danced to Catherine Brightface.
All right.
Say that.
Yeah.
Different
Wow.
now.
And
Okay.
you pointed to him.
Yeah.
I pointed to you.
Excuse you. Okay. Well,
Welcome
hi,
to the
everyone.
beginning
You know
of the end of the podcast,
You know what?
everybody.
I like this energy
Yeah.
for the episode that we're about to record.
I am already against you, Jonathan.
Where everyone is
Yeah.
against Jonathan
Okay.
and maybe me.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think that's the correct energy for
Yeah.
this episode. So let's keep that rolling. And no, Jonathan, you go first
Yeah,
as the
I will.
superior Zang
Exactly.
brother.
Well, my name is Jonathan, and I usually play Checkers, the Grung Druid, and his trusty frog pals, Mango and Junior. But tonight, apparently, I have bad rhythm and am not playing
It's
these
not even
characters.
bad rhythm. It's just we literally all danced to the sing-song intro of David's character.
Okay, well, I will remember that when I murder your character first.
You get inspiration for all of the next 5 attacks.
Wow. Okay, perfect. But before this episode, spoilers, Checkers is not here today, and I am helping Nathan with the enemies.
Again, it's not a spoiler. They
Yeah,
they should
that's true.
hopefully they listen.
That's true.
we're- This is not hello any new listeners. We appreciate you. Maybe you can find something interesting, but there's a whole situation that we found ourselves.
Yeah, but Nathan told me that I could do whatever I wanted, and I'm taking that to heart.
Yep.
So,
literally anything. That's what I
watch
told
yourself,
him.
Val.
That's factually
Never.
correct.
Val will never change. Sassy to the end.
And the person on my left.
Hi, everyone. I'm David, and I play Cascarin Brightmane, the Dwarven Warlock.
I was stock still during that intro. There was no wiggles, no dance, no rhythm enjoyed whatsoever. You jerk.
Don't worry, David. I danced, and it was great.
Antagonism.
Good. We're also, Warlock is actually, Warlock asterisk.
It's a harder word to say than you think it is.
I can't say it, so I'm just going to say it's not actually a Warlock, but I'm also rooted in tradition, and having done this for 100 episodes.
Maybe just make it Sorelock.
I should.
Same rhythm,
Next time.
same vibes. Yeah,
Next
well,
time.
exactly.
We'll
And
figure it
that's-
out. We'll figure it out.
That's
We're
what the
workshopping
people
it.
listen to this show for, is those behind the scene nuggets.
Yes. And to my left.
I'm sorry, everybody. Because I'm going last, you have therefore given me too much time
This is why we start with Steve.
to come up with. My name is Steve, and I'll be playing Sylvester Lynn, the Dragonborn monk.
Okay, so we can all agree. There's 3 teams.
Yes.
It's Jonathan and Nathan.
Yep.
It's David and Sophie.
Yep.
And then it's Steve.
Yeah.
And we start with Steve, the human individual.
Uh-huh.
The human bard that can create a parody song lyrics in no
Right.
time.
And we get him first. Why are we starting with his antagonistic energy?
Because this may be our last episode.
with these characters.
Well, yes, could be.
Well, I guess
I don't know.
It's based on the intro.
Yeah.
It's getting pretty personal.
Yeah,
in
we're
here,
getting
so-
some energy in here.
As long as
I
we
thought I was starting with lighthearted fun, and I do not. I just snowball.
Isn't that how these things always start? Now we're Hatfields and McCoys out here.
Yeah.
We are Jets and Sharks. Never shall the twain come together. And again, why might there be other reasons for this aggro attitude? Well, you all find yourselves inside of this pitch black lair. This cavern is muddy and wet, and you can hear churning water fill the chamber as the waves that you see outside are also here, maybe even intensified. The image that I think is very effective at communicating the bleakness of this situation is Selv standing alone, probably already ankle deep in mud from having not moved for 5 seconds, holding his staff aloft, and this beautiful, bright, white light shining like a beacon of hope, and seeing nothing but blackness and water. You still don't really have a good idea of how large this cavern is, or how deep this water goes, or even really what is coming after you, other than apparently your own guildmate Checkers. So let's all roll for initiative. I gave a dramatic pause to be like, maybe someone will jump in with a reaction, and everyone's just like,
Oh, God.
seems bad, and they are correct.
Ooh, yeah.
20 or higher.
My ooh yeah. Isn't that good?
15 or higher.
Val with a 19.
Ooh, okay, that's you know, you can.
This is a zero initiative bonus. So,
okay.
you
Then
know.
that's
That's
excellent.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Kaskrin with an 11.
And I, once again, rhyme. Selv with a 12.
Excellent. And now, we begin combat. And we start at initiative count 20 with a layer action.
So the three of you hear a familiar voice echo throughout the cavern.
This is already torture.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I
this is
hate this.
Already torture. This is mental torture for Val.
And imagine it's like echoing off
Yeah.
of this, like, and it is perfectly in sync with all of this churning water sound, and still somehow Checker's laugh reverberates around this cavern.
And in the split second before something catastrophic happens, you hear the sounds of ropes being cut from the top of this potion bottle cave. Selv and Val, you see a pile of rocks begin to tumble above where Selv is at and fall towards you, threatening to crush you. You need to make me a dexterity saving throw or be crushed by these rocks.
Rocks fall!
Yeah, this ability I've named, Rocks Fall, you die.
Selv will kind of look up and see these massive amounts of stone coming at him and just, not as much fun on this side of it, and will dive to the side. That's a natural 20.
Ooh.
For a total of 28,
Yes.
And that's a failure.
but with evasion,
Yes. Normally these rocks would hurt you even though you had saved, but because you have evasion, they do no damage and you manage to avoid them perfectly.
Nice.
Yeah, way to ruin Rocks Falls.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So yeah, you guys hear this huge, like, gross, wet thwap of rock as it all just comes tumbling and clanking down, and can just barely see the shadows shift around as Selv rolls out of the way. Well, it was a natural 20, so somehow he rolls out of the way and gets no mud on his outfit whatsoever. It is improbable.
I'm imagining it like he's like climbing up the rocks as they're falling, like to get out from under them.
Oh,
shoot,
yeah,
shoot,
yeah.
anime jump, anime jump, anime jump.
And then stops, grins, and gets the bing
Yeah.
off his staff with the light on it. Yep.
Velasca Carter, you are on a chain. Presumably, just kind of doing a sensible shuffle downward. You have seen rocks fall. You have heard several now grung-based cackles. Kaskrin is not visible anymore. What would you like to do?
I would like to start by pulling out the trinket that Good Checkers gave Val and open a light source of the Fortunate Trinket. I think it acts like a torch, so it's 40,
40 feet.
feet of light. Does that help Val see this horrible thing that talked about mortal meat?
Give me a d20 roll.
An 8.
When you activate it, the light is able to just start hitting the surface of the water from where you are. So it's kind of right at that 40 feet max that you're looking at. But at this point, you can't see any additional detail.
Okay. Val will scooch down a little bit and see if she can see any more details.
Give me an athletics check.
Why?
Because you're scooting in the heat of battle.
Ooh, okay. It's at least double digits. It's just a 50. Why am I looking? There's no bonus. It's a 50.
But that is good enough.
There's no bonus.
There's several bits of failure, and that is enough that you can move. I don't know. Is half speed? That seems
I was
reasonable, right?
10 feet. I want to just battle trigonometry. Just boop.
Yeah, so for that amount of movement, for that roll, you would be able to move kind of your full half movement essentially to descend safely.
Okay.
So now that you've moved down 15 more feet, you can now start to kind of see 10 feet. Okay.
It feels like you want me to move 15 feet. Now I want to be just out of range.
Fair
of
enough.
things.
You move down 10 feet, 15 feet, and and then you slip an extra 5 feet.
Yeah.
And now that you are a little bit closer to the surface, you could swear from where Kaskrin last was, you can see an outline, like a shadow. Maybe it's of Kaskrin. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it is a play of the light.
And you do also see the very top of a stone pillar that Kaskrin had cast, but was not able to jump on top of. So there is at least some sort of stable footing somewhere in this water.
Okay, you know what? I will use my action to perceive the dark blob in the dark water.
Great.
21.
Ooh, very good. So you kind of see, again, vaguely in the direction of where things are. As your eyes get used to this new light and the new refractions that are bouncing around, and it just kind of clicks into your brain and you're able to see the magic picture, you can definitely tell just beyond this shadow something quite a bit larger. It seems to be about 10 or 15 feet away from the shadow. It's kind of hard to tell with the depth perception, but at least the main bit of shadow has to be 8, 10 plus feet.
Gross, I hate that. But I can see it, and Val will cast Spiritual Weapon
Ooh, okay.
over the big hunk center mass of the shadow.
It's actually underwater.
Yeah.
It forms underwater when you cast it.
Great. She's going to choose a piercing weapon for better movement in the water, and it'll be a very sharp, sharpened pencil. That's her spiritual weapon.
As this sharpened pencil materializes
The sharpest of
underwater.
pencils.
The sharpest of pencils, it says right there on the label,
Yeah.
sharpest of pencils, materializes right next to this, whatever this is. Everyone's head once again fills with this pressure as it builds and builds, and then the voice appears once more in your head as it yells. You bring their power into this place.
Yeah. And then Val will try to hit it. 11.
That is a miss. So it goes in for a kind of like barracuda-like stab, but just misses it as this thing maybe writhes out of the way. Maybe you just miss. Not clear.
Val will yell out, "It's under the pencil!"
You move the pencil just kind of
It's just
up.
like the tip of the pencil is out of the water. I'm imagining it's like a long pencil. I don't know. In my mind, spiritual weapon is comically large.
Right. I think that's it is a novelty-sized pencil. And
The novelty sharpest pencil.
yeah, you can have it. You can even have it kind of go up into the air and just kind of be an arrow and have me
it's
point
just
going
like
straight down.
pointing at it. We'll just
I love
like
that.
do a poke at it whenever it needs.
Okay.
Val, out of the darkness, you hear another familiar voice. Well, Val, you heard it. You done goofed. As you see something fly towards you, and usually when you've seen this before, it's been a jagged fishing hook on the end of a line. But this time, it's kind of this thick tentacle covered in jagged fishing hooks reaching out towards you and threatening to grab you. It's going to make an attack against you as a legendary action. 21 to hit.
That hits.
7 points of piercing damage, and you are pulled 10 feet off of the chain.
Since it is forced movement, I'll give you a roll on it because you might be not wanting to do this. I don't know, dexterity save or strength save?
Strength save.
I was going to say, what is it? I don't remember what it usually
They're both
is.
a +0.
Great.
18 on the die.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So
nice.
this thing is trying to tug you away from the chain, and you were holding onto it with for dear life.
Val is parallel to the ground.
Right.
Just one ankle.
Yeah.
And this is coming from total darkness.
Yeah.
You do not see where this is coming from. You presume it is Checkers somewhere up on the ceiling near you, but it is like, even with your light on, he is in shadows.
Uh-huh. This is bad. Not good.
Selv is currently on the shore. Where the rocks fell, is that any more stable ground than the mud that was kind of sucking at my boots?
I would say it's like differently stable, whereas this one at least is relatively flat, but up there you also won't be sinking. And you're pretty dexterous, so I imagine it wouldn't be too hard for Selv to kind of position himself in such a way that he's a little bit more stable.
Okay, then I will do that.
Great.
And I'm going to spend 1 key point to cast Fangs of the Frost Wolf. It is an attack roll, and I'm going to fling this ice knife or this fang at the creature under the water.
Okay, you can certainly try. Give me a roll.
18 to hit.
That is a miss.
What?
You throw it, again, in the general direction is right where the pencil is, but the water is so dark, the waves are crashing so hard, there's so much chaos happening right now that you can't possibly get a clear line of sight on it, and you know it was the right spot. You know it's there, but it's not quite enough.
The shard, even though it missed, it still explodes. The creature needs to make a dexterity saving throw or still take a little bit of cold damage.
Okay, it's surprisingly not the dexiest. 13.
My save DC is 14.
Hey!
Nice.
So it gets to enjoy an additional 2d6 of exploding cold damage. That's only 4 points. But
Ouch.
Every
We
little bit
take what we
counts.
can get.
take what we can get, and if it was concentrating on anything, it's got.
Yeah, you know.
All right, then I am going to look around for any cast-shaped bodies in the water.
It's by the pencil.
It's by. I'll look by the pencil.
And again, you were watching Kaskrin when he went in, so you would know it's not far from where you just
Right.
threw this knife.
Then that will be my turn.
As a legendary action, Selv, you begin looking for the spot where Kaskrin is at, and on the surface of the water, this putrid liquid begins to take the shape, a vague shape of Kaskrin, actually, stony arms, stony limbs, and all. And it looks you dead in the eye and holds its hands to its throat as if it is choking and drowning as it slowly sinks into the liquid again. And you hear echoing throughout the cavern, "Better hurry up, Salve."
You're not helping, Checkers.
Kaskrin, you find yourself underwater.
Yeah, I don't like this. This is bad.
You have dark vision.
I do.
So really, for the first time, you are probably the only one who has even the slightest bit of insight as to what you are facing. All around you are wispy, writhing tentacles. As you trace them back to their source, you see a multi-eyed head. Actually, to call it a multi-eyed head, it doesn't do it justice. Imagine an octopus head, but every square inch of it is covered in eyeballs.
Can I not? I don't want to imagine that.
Well, if it helps, there is a little bit that is not covered, which is the horrible eel-like mouth that you still see probing out of it.
Is this the octopeel?
You'll have to ask. You hear in your mind, "I will make my pain yours." Could you please make me a wisdom saving throw, please?
That is a natural 20.
Wow, good.
Still alive.
Even though its arms are wrapped entirely around you, you can feel that pressure in your brain when it talks. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And just when it feels like your brain is going to pop, it ends.
And Kaskrin is like struggling because he is, all jokes aside, this is a pretty dire situation. And so he's just like yelling and pushing against this. You can't take me!
I'm going to say that is the end of its turn. Kaskrin, it is your turn.
Okay, Kaskrin and David need information. First off, I see this octopus with eyes and all of its nonsense in this dark body of water. Do I know about how deep I am or how close I am to the bottom of this kind of like bottle-shaped well?
I'm not even going to ask you to make a perception check. You don't.
Okay, gotcha. And Kaskrin is holding his breath, and it's like a crapshoot either way. If he tries to run and swim up to the top, it could grab him again. If he tries to flee in any direction, it could be futile. And so Kaskrin is going to, as a free action, pull out the Fortunate's Charm and try to light a beacon to let Selv and Val know where he is. He flips it open, casting a strong light in this 20-foot area, however it's dimmed by the water. And as a bonus action, he is going to form the armor and weapon around him that his patron has granted him. And he is going to make this armor a little bit more aerodynamic, a little bit more
Aquadynamic.
Hydrodynamic.
I'm now just imagining Cass Aquaman.
Yeah.
His head is just a bullet.
Yeah. The helmet is just like a regular cone.
Yep, exactly.
And with the remainder of his bonus action, Kaskrin is going to form the weapon in his hand in the shape of this obsidian trident.
I guess if there is a weapon that you can use underwater, that's what it is.
Yes, and again, knowledgeable to the rules listeners, melee weapons have penalties underwater, though a trident, smartly, is not one of them.
As his action, Kaskrin is going to bolster his defenses and cast his first 4th level spell. I am casting a spell called Orbital Stones. And from the area around him, these fragments of stones begin coalescing around him into these 3 round balls that orbit his body. While I still have all 3 stones orbiting, I have 3/4 covered.
Ooh,
Hell
very
yeah.
cool.
Which gives me +5 armor and +5 to dexterity saving throws. As a bonus action, while I have at least 1 stone, I can throw it at something and deal 3d10 bludgeoning damage, and while I still have 1 stone, I have half cover. I am going to, with my armor and my weapon, I'm going to try to look at this thing and really try to take it all in. And more importantly, is Checkers anywhere around here? I can hear him, but do I see him?
You see water, you see creature, you see sources of light.
Okay. And so I am just going to try and look for Checkers, but not seeing him, I'm ending my turn.
As a legendary action,
Stop.
you hear echoing all around you. Don't think you're going anywhere, Cass. As a giant eyeball materializes behind you, and a massive maw opens up in the middle of this eyeball, and you see these sharp, pointy teeth try to grab at you.
Oh, no.
It's going to make an attack against you.
I vote we never let Jonathan do anything.
Yeah.
20.
That misses.
With his
Three-quarters cover.
Yeah, with my 3/4 cover, 2 of the rocks just sort of float up and try to repel the jaws of this as best they can, giving me just enough time to escape.
And the eye tries to close around these stones, and failing that, it disappears into the water.
And now, a word from our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by A Foul Light Shines, a new free serial novel based on a D&D campaign. The Empire of Fire and Water has known 20 golden years of peace since the end of Agenion's War, a peace which is now in peril. When a ragtag group of friends intervene in a grotesque monster attack, they're too late to save a wounded man who leaves them with an encrypted journal and the words, "Trust no one, Tyir." Can the gang find Tyir, escape the claws of more strange monsters, and uncover the lurking threat to the Empire before it's too late? This story features themes of found family and strength in diversity, and is available for free on Campfire and Royal Road. A Foul Light Shines. Come for the fantasy. Stay for the cheese-obsessed goblin gunslinger.
Hi, it's me, Sophie. Do you want more Reckless Attack? Then join our Discord and chat with us in our community. The link for the Discord is in the show notes, or head on over to our website, recklessattack.com. We also have a Patreon. You can listen to our new show, Reckless Snack, and other content if you become a patron. We really appreciate your support, and thank you for listening to the episode.
Kaskrin, now you have a full view of this creature. It is very large. It is very tentacly. It has eyeballs everywhere. But as you call on this kind of new reserve of power from your patron for the first time, you can see it shudders a little bit, almost like a wave of power kind of emanates from you. And all of you, without this context, still hear in your head,
"Oh, the gods' meat still has power here. Disgusting. Disappointing."
And now it is the top of the round. Checkers is somewhere. Selv, you are on rocks. Val, you are actively being yanked. Well, I guess you're not right now being yanked. You have tried to be yanked, and you're able to kind of like re-grasp. And
I'm just imagining Val like tug of warring between herself and a tentacle.
Yep.
just
Because the tentacle's still grasping?
It let go.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's just it
Important
just yanked,
information.
Yeah, it just kind of yanked at you, and you were able to kick it off.
Okay.
And Kaskrin, you are still in the water with
Yes,
this
I
creature
am.
that tried to invade your mind.
Yep.
And good news, it's initiative count 20 once more. Layer action.
You hear the voice of Checkers cry out, "Ah, my mortal meat!"
Something I never want to hear Checkers say ever again.
As Checkers' energy is drained from him and fed directly into this horrible creature. you see the creature gain renewed strength as it uses the ability Action Surge.
Now, as an action, this creature is going to make ooh. Oh no, I think it's gonna try and prove a point. And is gonna try, now that it has been faced once more with the power of the Citadel, it once again turns all of its pupils towards you.
Great.
Make me another wisdom saving throw, please.
All right, I'm going to roll this out on the table so everyone can see, because this is going to be bad, y'all. That is a 12.
That is a failure. We'll get into what that means in a bit.
No.
But Kaskrin, this pressure once again builds and builds and builds. And only in your head, a single word rings out.
Meat.
Velasca Carter, you are dangling once more from a chain 10 feet lower, not 15 feet lower from where you started. What would you like to do?
Can Val see Cass?
Because Kaskrin flipped on his light, you can still see essentially everything, which is doing a big amount to kind of, I'll just say, lower its AC, make it a little bit easier to hit with things.
Well, I have a pencil. Stabbing it. Fuck. It doesn't hit. It's a 10.
It does not hit.
Okay. I would like it to make an intelligence saving throw.
Ooh, I'm sure this eternal being is not smart at all. 18 on the die.
Fine.
So that's a 26. Is that
Yeah,
good?
it's fine. That's fine. It's good. It's good. All going to plan.
Exactly what I hoped.
Here's like kind of a retroactive question. When Val was grabbed and yanked,
Yes.
did that give her momentum in the other direction?
Ooh, okay. This is fun.
Bringing physics into D&D.
This is interesting. Should this thought experiment be true? What? Go on.
I'm wondering if in trying to grasp Val, it swung her the opposite direction, closer to the stone pillar.
I am cool with it pulling you a little bit further, maybe like 5-ish feet. And I think we already established that it was like 15 feet away. So it'd still be like 10 feet in terms of a gap. And it also, you wouldn't be jumping from like a solid place.
Val, instead of moving up or down the chain, will use her movement to like move her body around the chain so as to wrap it around herself to get her more stable in the chain.
Okay. Roll me an athletics check. Or I'll say acrobatics too. Either of those. Because you're doing
She took a silks class, you know?
And are you trained in acrobatics?
No.
Well,
Beginner level.
I can take a silks class and be just as, if not slightly worse than Val in this. So, like, let's not go overboard here.
That's one.
No, I'm sorry. Can we get clean audio for that? So, could you repeat what that roll was?
A natural 1.
For those of not in the room, Sophie just yeeted that dice into the next room.
It like got some air.
Yeah, that was right.
I didn't even see it. But like, imagine the grumpiest cat trying to prove the biggest point by knocking over this tiniest glass of water.
Oh god, I hope it picked up the audio.
I hope so too. So, Val.
Yeah.
You are remembering with perfect recall everything that your Silks teacher, Sophie the Gnome, told you. And it's a great class. It's free for everyone there. It's like a community parks, kind of thing. It's very great community building. You've been going for a couple weeks, so you feel like, oh, I can do this. Please describe what happens upon your natural 1. And spoiler alert, it ends with, I'll say the verb must be plummet.
So Val tries to just move her body around the chain but doesn't realize that like the hold she has with her feet isn't stable enough. So her feet just like let the chain slip through. And so she's trying to grasp it, but just plummets down and almost just like pencil dives into this water.
Val, you have, being the charitable GM that I am, and reflecting on the very unfortunate situation that we all find ourselves in at this moment, I will say that you doing that was your move action. You are underwater. You see Kaskrin and this huge creature, which now you have the full detail of as well. And you see exactly half of the eyes stay on Kaskrin, while half of the other eyes swirl right to you.
Val will go ahead and cast Chill Touch on the creature.
Okay, seems good.
22 to hit.
That is a hit.
14 points of necrotic damage.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, that's pretty good.
And it cannot regain hit points until the start of my next turn.
Very interesting. What does it look like as you reach out?
This is a remnant of the Libra Morte. This is the Libra Morte having left a permanent mark on Val. So it is not the bright blue light that Val's spells are normally cast with. This is like the darkest night black skeletal hand that isn't quite humanoid, isn't quite monstrous. I think the unknown
Yeah, it's uncanny
origin
something. Yeah.
of it makes it even worse. And you see it move with disturbing speed through the water and grasp onto an eye and squeeze it as this inky blackness takes over. What I'm imagining is like a white eyeball with a black iris, and you see the eyeball becomes completely black and covered.
As a legendary action,
God damn it.
See, I find that I love the rhythm of the way you say that, Jonathan. You say that with a lot of pizzazz, very musical. I think it's great, and you're doing a great job.
thank you, Nathan. I appreciate that, because I want to back up a little bit and take us back to the moment when Val was plummeting off of the chain into the water. She's sinking into this fetid, putrid pool on her way into the jaws of this terrible creature. And the last thing that she sees above the water is this form of water takes shape right next to her. And it looks like Val holding onto this chain with a sturdy, steady grip. And this is showing you what would have happened had you made that athletic check. And then it just bloops into the water.
Is that ability called taunt without words?
That's
See, I choose to believe that that is Checkers fighting back of
It is very. It remains very checkers.
very Checkers humor, and that gives Val hope.
I genuinely,
It
that is interesting.
instills hope to Val, and like, no, that fucker is still around.
Yeah, he's still in there.
Unironically, that is a genuinely great observation. That feels very Val. So I'll give you inspiration for that.
Yay!
Hey.
Nice.
And that's its legendary action.
Sylvasterlin, what would you like to do?
Oh, well, I'm late for an appointment. I better go.
What's the opposite of Featherfall? Is Feather Stair Climb?
Yeah.
Right on out of here. Thank you.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Couple of questions for you. Cass's stone pillar that is still partially in and out of the water,
Indeed.
that has so far deflected
Yeah.
2 party members from its safe 5-foot square border.
It's been very neutral. It has not done anything. It is a failure
In
of
the
the
pillar's
dice.
defense,
Yes.
Val wasn't trying to get you.
How far is that from the shore, and how far is that pillar from that creature under the water?
So it would be about kind of 15 feet into the water. That would just be kind of this 5x5 pillar that is a little bit raised up, so you'd be very safe. Well, as safe as you can be.
Okay. Selv kind of takes a quick look around and sees the pillar that Cass had formed, and doing some quick calculations decides, got to get closer to my friends and help them out. So Selv is going to take a running start along the shore, and just as soon as he gets to the water, just take a giant leap and pinwheel his arms through the air and then land at a 3-point stance on the pillar.
Like a hero.
How far is this creature now from where Selv is on the pillar?
I will be a benevolent GM. You made some sick jumps. You've put yourself in danger. And since we're being very theater of the mindy of it, I think 15 feet, again, stray tentacles, a weird eyeball, whatever, is kind of in range. Have at it.
Okay. So I will take my regular 2 attacks against this thing. So that's a natural 1, and no. I'm assuming a 16 does not hit?
2 misses.
All right.
Geez.
As you guys, well, I guess as Selv, you see kind of like, like a Disney ride where they have like water and air cannons that just like blast water up into the air. You see just like you try to punch desperately at this creature through the water.
Right. I know I've got to hit this thing, so I'm going to spend a key point, and I'm going to do Flurry of Blows for another 2 attacks and try to get something to hit this thing. 14 and 18.
It's 2 misses.
Oh, jeez.
Alrighty then. I'm going to interact with the water.
Just kind of splash
Why?
around like in a fun. Just
No,
like,
the staff has light on it, and I know that there are a couple people in the water. So right by the pillar, I just put the staff into the water and give them a beacon to swim to.
I think
There
that is
we
a
go. Okay.
great idea.
As a legendary action, you feel something touch your face.
This is why Jonathan's not allowed to do anything.
It's, again, beautiful rhythm.
Yeah. And at first you think, oh, it's dust falling from the ceiling. But actually, as more and more falls, you realize that it's spores.
Oh,
Could you make me a dexterity saving throw, please?
I would love to. 25.
Ooh.
Nice. So, if you hadn't dodged all of these spores, you would have found various mushrooms growing on your skin. But you are so dexterous that you have managed to avoid all of them.
I imagine, what do you do? How do you dexterously avoid like spores? Because it's not rocks falling, it's not anything like that. So what does it look like when Selv like gets out of the way, waves it away, whatever he does?
It's like someone coughed on him and he's like dodging all
Right,
these
yeah,
things.
so I'm dodging the-
and he's
yeah.
and he's like on a stationary
Yeah.
5x5 pillar. Like there is not room to maneuver, and Selv is so awesome it doesn't fucking matter.
So I will actually, having see these spores coming down, just a quick little blast of gust
Absolutely.
for wind, and just blow them out into the water and away from me.
You do like an Avatar, The Last Airbender, kind of just like wave of your arms and create just enough of a gust to blow it out of the way, no problem. Val, you are underwater with Kaskrin and whatever this creature is. There is still a pencil hovering over it, and it hates literacy. And so
So we are mortal enemies.
this creature, all of its focus turns on you. It doesn't move its body at all, but 3 tentacles, absolutely lightning fast, reach towards you. Once again, in your brain, pressure, 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 and you hear its voice.
You and the fisher walk with the gods, but now you will stay here with me.
It's going to make 3 tentacle attacks against you. So in total, that is a 27 to hit, 18 to hit, and a 22 to hit. Are those all hits?
Literally everything hits Val.
Okay. First, 14 points of damage. 16 points of bludgeoning damage.
Val's down.
Self, you can see what is happening.
Yeah,
With
all of
perfect-
it's no good.
Yeah, and you can see Val gets hit. She goes limp. And a third tentacle is screaming at her just as a perfect kind of volley follow-up. And then as she goes limp, it slows down with perfect control and wraps around her. And what happens after that? She is unconscious, underwater. You know, that's bad for air breathers such as yourself. But as soon as this tentacle makes contact with her, her skin turns milky white. And it spreads kind of from whatever bit of flesh that it is touching all the way across her body until every inch of her skin is pale and almost translucent. And you see on either side of her neck gills spout.
Oh, God, gross.
And you can see as they just kind of start to wiggle and flap as she takes her first underwater breath after being the first creature touched by whatever it is that you are fighting. Kaskrin Brightmane, it is your turn. Which is why I would like to put attention onto Selv. You can see Val, in a flurry of violence, is knocked unconscious underwater. You can see...
But Cass is right there. to
But
help
Cass
her.
is right there. And you can see underwater, he turns and he extends a hand, and one of the rocks that is circling him fires out at you. Ooh, that is a 17 to hit.
My AC is 18.
Hey! Wow!
This
Oh,
huge,
jeez.
jagged rock that you know, if it made contact with you, would absolutely just crunch you. Just barely, you're able to get out of the way. And you can see now that Kaskrin uses his movement to clamber up the kind of side of this pillar. He's not all the way onto it yet, but imagine that his hands are now kind of reaching up towards you and looking to grab you.
And Selv, you see Kaskrin's stony armored fist sort of grab the edge of the rock, and he pulls his head above the water and stares these lifeless white eyes directly at you and mutters,
Meat.
And that is where we're going to end this week's episode of Reckless Attack. See you next time, everyone. Some of you, all
Will you
survivors.
go? Yeah.
Boo! I don't like kills. This is bad. As an action, Sophie would like to go back in time and not use banishment on the centipede.
You got baited.
Literally.
This is why Jonathan can't do anything.
No. Jonathan and I both were like, do we think we can get banishment?
We can get a banishment out of her, yeah.
We can get Sophie to put banishment on the centipede, right?
Right,
I bet
right.
we could. I bet we could do it.
Why do you do this?